Makerere University senior researchers have called on government to review the alternative learning methods set for learners in the education sector. Now, this follows a recent study on provision and uptake of alternative learning methods in secondary schools. In the COVID-19 lockdown show that the pandemic created enormous destruction of the education systems in history. The projected cheap internet services by government, increased supply of reading materials and sensitize e-learning, especially to rural schools, among others.
A 2020 research on provision and uptake of alternative learning methods in Uganda's secondary schools in the COVID-19 lockdown shows that students in urban schools have ample access to ICT facilities compared to their rural-based counterparts. The research was conducted by 6 fresh Makerere University researchers in rural and urban schools countrywide, where it was revealed that television was the most preferred teaching alternative method, followed by smartphones. This was during Dissemination Summit funded by the government of Uganda through Research and Innovation Fund at School of Business, Makerere University.
For instance, teaching via radio, all the students we interviewed said it is very, very difficult because they don't see the teacher. And because they don't see the teacher, the kind of attention they give is always very low. But they would prefer a situation whereby they can see a teacher.
We realized, one, that the material supplied by the Ministry of Education did not reach most of the places, especially the rural areas.
Ministry of Education and Sports applauds Makerere University researchers for the timely and accurate professional findings, which are going to help government choose best alternative methods.
As Ministry of Education, we are very pleased with the study because as we take decisions, we need to be informed, and research is one way that we can take informed decisions, because then we are looking at what is happening on the ground and then taking appropriate decisions.
It was resolved that the Ministry of Education and Sports establish its own radio and television stations, monitor distribution of learning materials, and that government makes internet cheap and accessible to learners.
Parents, teachers, and some officials from the ministry, we all agreed that we need to go on with the blended learning, that even if schools are opened, we should have a mixture of both e-learning.
Doing mathematics. At this time it is senior 6 during chemistry. So there is a clear program that they can follow. Then that will be much better than just buying space on the TV stations.
The government should try as much as possible to subsidize these gadgets. Where possible, they can remove tax, for example, on tablets, laptops, or encourage manufacturers to come here in Uganda and manufacture them.
The researchers concluded that once government works on some of the identified hiccups in the alternative learning methods, education to all learners countrywide would be eased. Story by Robert White for UBC News.